Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, this is the second part to my Halloween budget DIYs. I always say better late than never. So this first one I am bringing you is the spider web that they had with the tinsel around it at the Dollar Tree. And then they had a clear, the clear like glow in the dark spider, and they had another one that you could choose. It may have been black. I just picked it up. I didn't know if I was going to do anything with it. And then I got this Chanel black yarn at the Dollar Tree as well. So we are just going to kind of repurpose this. I am going to warn you, this is a very easy DIY, but a very time consuming DIY. So as I started filming it, I did not realize how long this was going to take me, but I wanted to share it with you because I am really happy with the way it turned out, and it was made for such a little amount of money, and it is adorable. And so I went ahead and added it to this video. I start by taking the tinsel off, and as you can see, I struggle a little bit. I wasn't quite sure how they wound the tinsel around this web, so this took me a little bit, but eventually I get all the tinsel off and I have a fresh, clean slate to work with. I want to also, while we're here, there's the clean slate. I got all that tinsel off. It took me a little bit, but there it is. And we are going to start wrapping it with the yarn, and all I do is put a dab of hot glue to where I start. I do cut the yarn because I have to kind of feed it through these holes, and having a whole spool or roll or whatever it is of it makes it kind of hard. So I just cut some off, and then I put that dab of glue on, and I just start wrapping it around, and you will see how I do it. As I started to say before I stopped, I want to thank you all for joining me on this video. I know that this one's really late in the season, and I do apologize. My life has been very hectic. I have a daughter having twins. I've had a baby shower, daughters visiting, all kinds of birthdays, and I got super behind on my DIYs. But for my own sanity, I wanted to go ahead and finish this part 2 and put it out there, even though Halloween is so very close. So as I said, thank you for joining me. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that notification bell. And then if you are returning, thank you so much for supporting my channel. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. I would love if you would comment below. Let me know what your favorite DIY is out of this video. And if you would share this video with your family and friends, that would be awesome. And every time you hit that like button, it lets YouTube know that my content is being watched and liked. So then it shares it a little bit more. So with that said, let's go ahead and start talking about how this project took me so long. Again, like I said, I had it pictured in my head and thought it was going to be a lot easier. It is easy. It's just time consuming. So, a lot of wrapping. I did a lot of wrapping of this yarn. Now, if you don't have this black yarn, you can get a thicker black yarn at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can also get cloth or ribbon or whatever you want. This is just what I had on hand, and I just thought this would be so cute. So like I said, it does end up being super cute, but it is a little bit time consuming. So I do apologize for that. If you get a chance to make it, you're going to love it. But I don't know how many people are going to get a chance to make this before the season is over. Like I said, I'm just happy that I was able to share some more of my DIYs. And again, I'm sorry I'm so late. You see me snipping off the little plastic pieces that were holding the tinsel. When I started wrapping, I noticed that things were really getting caught up on those. So then I just kind of snipped them off. Now I do have snippers, and those would have worked a lot better, but I was trying to just sit and get this video done. So I just used scissors on hand to cut those off, and I just continue to wrap. And as you can see, I do not use any more glue. I just started with that dab, and I just keep wrapping it around. And when the yarn ends and I have to put a new one on, that's when I put another dab of glue. So you will see me do that as soon as I get to the end of this yarn. Oh my goodness, look. the outside is complete. I just have to do all the other webs now. So I continue with the webbing part, not the pie-shaped part, and I will finish the pie-shaped part after I get all of these done. So this is the same process as before. So we're just going to put that one glue dot, and we are going to start wrapping this around until we get to the end of our yarn. And now that second row is complete. Geez, how fast it goes when you're making a video. If it only went that fast when you were actually making it. Anyway, we have finished the second row. Now I am on to the third and last row before we have to start on those pie shapes. I had not cut off all the little tabs, so that's what you see me doing. It's time to put a glue dot and wrap. Now each one is a little bit faster because they get smaller and smaller. But again, this does take a little time, so get yourself a cup of cocoa or coffee and turn on a movie and just kind of relax while you do it. That's what I did. I had some coffee and I was watching a TV show while I was wrapping this and also talking to my daughter at the same time. So it does take some time, but there are things you can do while you do this. And just like that, that third row is done. And so now what we are going to do is we're going to start on those pie shapes. And all I'm doing is taking some yarn and I'm starting it at the top. You can start at the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. I kind of just take the yarn and wrap it around, so it doesn't matter which way you start. Again, the same as doing the web itself, you just keep wrapping that yarn around and then until you run out, and then you will use glue to set it into place, and then some more glue to start the next string. So this part went a little bit faster, but you will see me wrapping that, and the end result is really, really cute. And just like magic, it's all done. Here it is, you guys. See what a difference it is between that tinsel and then that really soft chenille yarn. It really, really just made a high-end look out of something that is inexpensive, but yet so cute. Here I am using some black acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint this spider. I do not want to keep him clear, so you will see me paint it. I don't worry too much about it being like a dark black or I don't need more than one coat, really. I do kind of touch up some spaces on it, but for the most part I just do one good coat of this acrylic paint all over the top of the spider. And here he is, or she is. I really love the way this turned out, but I do want to do some dry brushing of some white chalk paint. I use the Rustoleum linen white chalk paint, and I will link that in the description box below. You can get that on Amazon. Now these plank boards are from the Dollar Tree. I have not seen them there in a while, but I have a few packs of these. I think they come in a pack of 5. So I thought these would be really, really cute to put on the webbing and make this more like a wreath. So I'm just taking the black. I'm not technically dry brushing, but I'm not also covering the whole thing, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of swiping the brush all over the board just to make it look a little bit old and rustic. So I will do this on both sides because I like to have it complete, and then we will go from there. You saw me pull out those white stickers, the alphabet stickers. Those are from the Dollar Tree. I was going to use those because this has a black background, but I decided on something a little bit different. I wanted to take advantage of all the window clings that I have. Now, not all my window clings are from the Dollar Tree. I have some from the Dollar Tree and some from Walmart, and I believe the one that I use on this is from Walmart, but I thought it was just a lot cuter than just the plain letters. But you could do either one or whatever, style you have and whatever's best for you. And here are those window clings I was telling you about. These were from Walmart, and as you can see, I already used one off of there, but I thought that these would be perfect to go onto the sign. Before I do that, I decide to dry brush it with some of that Rustoleum white linen chalk paint I told you about. And again, I'm going to link that in the description box below, but just a nice dry brush of that before I add on the Mod Podge and that window cling. Now I did have to cut the window cling in half because Happy Halloween was all one word or all connected, and I needed it to be 2 pieces, but it was super easy. And like I said, I just add some Mod Podge after all this paint dries. Here is where we are going to start dry brushing that spider as well. I just put a light coat of that white chalk paint over him or her, like I said, just to lighten her up a little bit so she shows up on that web. And you have to really, really sit through this because I'm telling you, I thought I was all done with it, and then I got this grand idea and I created some webs, and I can't wait to show you how I do it. So here is where I take the Mod Podge. I'm just using the matte finish, and we are going to put a nice coating of this on each board before we put down those window clings. I have really gotten into the window clings this year. I've seen that they've been pretty popular with other YouTubers, and I thought, how fun, and why did I not think of this before? But I am loving using them. They are so cute and affordable, and you can get so many projects out of just one sheet of them. So I'm using just the Happy Halloween, and like I said, I am Mod Podging both. I want to remind you again, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, the share button, and comment. I love to hear from all of you, and I do love getting the comments so that I can reply back. So, and then again, if you're joining me again, thank you so much for your support. So here they are, they're all done. Now I do want to put a layer of Mod Podge over the top of them. So once that Mod Podge dries, I give it about 20 minutes. I go ahead and I put a nice thick coat over the top of the window cling just to really keep it on that board and to give it just a nice matte finish. So that's what you see me doing, and then you're going to want to let these dry. So after these were completely dry, I decided I wanted to add another layer of texture to these. So I went ahead and took some sandpaper. I don't even know what grit it is. I just found it up in my cabinet in the laundry room, and I thought, yes, I want to do that. So I just really sand those edges nicely just to make it look like it's a little bit more old and worn. Now we need to attach these to our wreath, and we need to attach our spider as well, or I don't know if you want to call it a wreath or a web. It looks like a wreath when I'm all done, but it is the web, and it's super easy and super cute to do this. So make sure your glue gun is on and nice and hot and ready to go. And I start with the plaques because I want to kind of center them, and then I kind of am trying to figure out the spider at the same time. So I'm just hot gluing just some parts of the spider that I think are going to touch the web. And then I put the spider down, but then I end up moving the spider so that I can put the plaques on. And I just was really trying to get this web done. And so I have to mess around with it a little bit just to get it just so. But once I get them exactly where I want them, they are really super easy to glue down. And then I have my fun technique that I did at the end. So now it's time to glue down those boards. I just put some glue on the center because I know that it is going to go across a web, and I will show you how to secure that better here in a few, but I just want to get everything down so that we can get this web all done and looking good. Okay, everything is glued down, and now we just want to secure it a little bit extra. So I do take the glue gun around the body of the spider a little bit and add some extra glue just to really attach it to that yarn so that it kind of stays in place. And then I do kind of move the legs around, and I glue them to certain parts of the web and then also to certain parts of the boards, just so I can place it exactly where I want it. I want it to be nice and secure and hopefully windproof in case it gets really windy anywhere for Halloween, or at least in the next week. Then we are going to flip it upside down or on the back, and then I am extra securing it because I can see exactly where the boards are, and putting some extra glue to make sure that those do not go anywhere. And I do the same thing with the spider. And now we just need to add a hanger, and I just take some of that black yarn and I put it through the hole that was already there. I do a nice little knot on top, and you automatically have a hanger to hang this on your door or on a wall, whatever you would like to do. You could also, I thought about like wrapping some of the LED lights around it, because Dollar Tree had a bunch of those and I grabbed so many of them, but I was on a time crunch, so I decided to just leave it the way it was. And then that's when I got the idea, because I was playing with glue and I thought, oh, this glue looks like webs. How can I get this to look like there's actual like webs on the web wreath? So I'm going to show you what I do. It did create quite a mess, but it ends up being amazing. So what you see me doing is I'm putting hot glue down, and then I'm just kind of dragging it back and forth around the web. And what this is doing is it's creating those silky looking pieces that like a web looks like. And I'm kind of enclosing the spider into the center of the web, as well as like making it look like the web all the way through. So I don't know how to explain it really more. It's just like putting a dab of hot glue and then dragging it up and around, and then it kind of strings out like, I mean, you know how hot glue gets stuck to you and you just can't get it off of you. It just gets real stringy. So I just got this idea. Now I'm doing this on a Dollar Tree mat because I can still use it for the same thing, or I can use it to paint on, but I found it easier to keep it on the mat and just go back and forth. And I will get an up close shot towards the end, but this method actually worked out really great. I don't even know how I came up with it. I've never seen anyone do it before, but I do like the way it turned out. I do suggest, if you do this, to lift your web about halfway through, because it does start to stick to whatever surface you're doing it on. So I do lift this up halfway and then I add some more webbing. But I was having so much fun, I couldn't stop. So at the end of this, you will see exactly how that turned out. Now on to project number 2. This is a super easy one. I think I have easy ones the rest of the way out. This is a beware sign. They also had one that said creepy. They're kind of a plastic and they stand, and it looks like they're made of bones. And I saw these I think at the end of August, and I grabbed a couple of each. And so I knew that I could remake this to where it was a lot more high-end looking and just really cute to set out. So I began painting it with black acrylic paint. You can use chalk paint as well. And I do the back and the back of the letters just because that's just me. You don't have to. You can do just the front. And then what I'm going to do is take my Rustoleum white linen chalk paint, and I'm going to dry brush white over this just to kind of make it pop a little bit more, because really there's not a whole lot we're doing to this. We're just trying to make it look like it's a little bit more expensive or a little bit more high end for a lower cost. And I do really love how this turns out. And there's so many possibilities you can do. You can get some small skeletons from the Dollar Tree or some flowers and glue them onto this if you like. I really liked it to be simple. So once I was done dry brushing, I did try a couple different things, but I ended up liking it just plain and the way it is. But super easy DIY, super affordable. And if you have any of these signs, this is a good way to dress it up and lay it out for the holiday. Now moving on to DIY number 3, I am going to make a really cute Halloween pillow out of this flour sack cloth that I got at the Dollar Tree. Now, I got these really early in the season and she had just put them out when I went in, and I grabbed like 3 different styles. And I love them for pillows. I did make a pillow out of another one, so I'm going to show you how I do this. This is done quite often on YouTube by DIYers, but I just wanted to go ahead and share with you the way I do it, because I do not sew, and I strictly use these just for decoration. So basically all I did was take off the tag, and then I go ahead and I line up the towel so that the seams are all together, and I get it as straight as possible before I start gluing it down. So once I've done all that, I like to start gluing at the bottom, because then that just kind of lines everything up, and I know that I'm not going to have like an overhang or anything. So I start gluing the bottom, and I want it to I want it to look like it's morning, guys. I went to bed late and here it is morning. I want to glue it so that it looks like it has been sewn. So I kind of leave a little bit of that seam loose, but right where they stitched the towel together is where I'm putting the hot glue. So I continue to glue the bottom, and then I glue one side, leaving one side open so that we can stuff this pillow. Again, I want to apologize for this video being so late in the season. I know most of you are already working on Christmas, and Halloween is getting ready to be put away. But these also make some really cute gifts. And I don't know if any of you boo your neighbors or boo coworkers, but these are inexpensive and really cute to put in a boo bag, or put like a boo tag on it or whatever, but that's also really cute. And then you're just kind of giving someone a little gift of love. I am going to do that this week at work myself. And so these will also come in handy if you are looking for a last minute boo gift. But I went ahead and I'm gluing the side, the other, oh my goodness gracious, you guys, I can't talk. I've glued 2 sides, leaving one side open, and this is where I am going to stuff this pillow. So I have an old pillow that right there, it's an old bed pillow for decoration that we were going to just throw away, and I like to recycle. So I'm just cutting it open and using the stuffing out of this pillow to create my Halloween pillow. I try not to go out and buy stuffing and all that because it's super expensive. So I'm always trying to reuse stuffing of pillows that I already have. If not, I also, at the end of Christmas season, this is an idea, I always buy the buffalo snow, like the padding, because that works really well as a pillow stuffer. So I use that. If my dogs gut their toys, I get the stuffing out of their toys. I know, but these things are just for me, for decoration, and I'm just taking something old and making it new. And I just love how these turn out, and they look so cute laying around the house. When it's almost completely stuffed, I go ahead and you can see that I glued half of the other side just so that I can really fill it in there nicely. And then after I get as much stuffing in there as I want or that I can, I go ahead and finish it up. And this is just a little bit tricky. You're trying to hold it closed while gluing it straight at the same time. But I just hold on to it with the back of my hand and then apply the glue and seal it together. And you have a super, super adorable Halloween pillow. Now you can do this with any flour sack towel. You can do it with placemats. You can do it with other dish towels. Like they have the microfiber ones at Dollar Tree, and those work really well to make a pillow. But I love the flour sack ones just because I like the fabric and I think that they're adorable. So anyway, this one makes a cute decoration piece. And like I said, if you want to boo a friend or boo a neighbor, you can use any of these ideas for that as well. Now moving on to our next DIY, I am just repurposing these gnomes that I got at Dollar Tree. Now, I did not get these in the store. I actually ordered these in August on their website, and you were able to buy smaller quantities, so that worked out really well. These socks are also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be honest, I have a ton of socks in my craft stash, but I did get these this year because they have started putting the Christmas socks out, and these had some glitter, and I really loved that they were all black. So I decided to grab those to make this Halloween gnome. Now, like I said, I got these on the website, but you can use any of the Dollar Tree gnomes, or you can create your own gnome. Go on their website and see what they have, because you can change any of them. I have Valentine's gnomes, Christmas gnomes, and I also now have Halloween gnomes, and I have fall gnomes. So then I just change them for each holiday and add the sock color that I want and design and embellishments, and then it turns out super cute. So I just take this sock and I put it over the hat of the gnome, because we're trying to make this look a little bit more high-end and not so, you know, like thin material cheap. So I just take it and I make sure the heel of the sock is on the side somewhere. And then, because I'm going to let the hat go to the side, and then I just glue this. I always start at the nose because I like to position it at the nose where I want it to be. And as you can see, I'm folding this sock up, and later I will glue around those edges to make it stay so that it doesn't like just come loose. So I'm just going to continue gluing around the edge, and when we're done, then we will go ahead and glue the fold over part as well. As you can see, I'm combing the beard down with my fingers, just trying to straighten it all out. I always like to put a little glue under the beard just so I can keep it in place. so that it's not moving around or all bunching up anywhere. So I just add some glue and then I just keep straightening out that beard, and then I will cut it and make it even on the bottom. So now it is time to fold that sock over, and like I said, I put the heel to the side, and then that will be the side that I let it flip over, if that makes sense. And I do add some hot glue to kind of bunch it together and keep it in place. Like I said, I'm all about gluing these things, not over gluing, but gluing enough that you can almost like prop it, like, you know, make it to where it looks the same all the time without you having to freshen it up. So I'm gluing the side heels together, and then I will go ahead and flip that top over and glue that a little bit as well. Now we are moving on to the embellishments. These are just a few things that I got at the Dollar Tree early in the season. I have some foam flowers, and then I have these like glittery sparkle flowers that you'll see me use a little bit later in this video. And I tried those first, and they do look really nice. I mean, they really make it pop, but it just, I didn't like, I don't know. I just didn't like those textures together, I think is what I'm trying to say. So I do end up using the foam flowers, but I always test out things to see if I like them first. So here's where I pull out the foam flowers, seeing which color I like the best. Now these are not super well made, so I do a lot of gluing to hold them together. They fall apart pretty easily, but they're super easy to add a dab of glue here and there and keep them all together. So I was trying to decide on a color, and then I end up deciding on two. And the orange and the purple, those are really cute Halloween colors together. And on the black, they just really make this thing pop. So I start by gluing the back of it, and I glue it on, and then I realize, oh, these are falling apart. So then I have to glue under different sections, and it looks like I cut off part of my video, so I apologize, but I'm actually just gluing these on. And this is where I decide, oh, they're not going to stay together. I have to glue all the layers. So I just go through and glue these just per section. I add a couple dabs of glue, and then they stay really well and they look adorable. And here is my gnome all made over. It looks so much cuter, much more high end. And just with a few little accessories, you have something super adorable. Now, the one thing I did not show you is I took that hat on the side and I added some of the sparkly glitter twine stuff that I got off the spider web earlier in the video. Because it kind of matched the hat, and I just thought, hey, why not use some of the stuff I'm getting ready to throw away or I'm taking off of another project. So this turned out super cute, and there's so many different things you can do with these gnomes. Never hesitate to grab some of these online or in the store if you see them, because you can always make them more high-end looking with just a few steps. And now the next craft or the next DIY, I found this skull. It's a plastic like drink thing. I got it at the Dollar Tree. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I grabbed it anyway because I knew that I could do something fun. And it's very, very shiny chrome looking, and I want to kind of dull it down and make it more Halloweenish or Halloweenish to match my decor. So I start by painting it with the Rustoleum white chalk paint, and I paint it all over, let it dry, and then I add one more coat to that. This was super easy to paint, and it just changed the look altogether. I've really been into making these candy baskets this year. I was inspired by someone on Instagram that I follow her, and she does some really, really fun, easy, cute stuff. So she had done one with a foam pumpkin, and I did that one as well. I just did not record it. And I decided to go ahead and make another one and do it with this skull head. So after you paint it all white and it dries, I go ahead and I dry brush it with black because I'm trying to figure out how to make it look a little bit more worn and not so like clean. So I just keep going over it with black, and then I go over it with white, and then I go over it with black, and then I decide, hey, I'm going to put the eye, because there was a space for the eyeballs, so I do put some black in the eyeballs, and then it kind of creeped me out because it was weird. I don't know. So you'll see me do a few things to change it up. Just keep playing until you get it the way you want it. And if you want to leave it that chromy silver color, you can do that as well. But this was just my way of revamping this drink, this skull drink holder, container. I don't know what to say. Anyway, so I knew I could use it for a craft. I only grabbed one, and I do love the way that this turns out when I'm all done. Now that I've got that all done, we're moving on to the next step, and I need to create some weight inside of this. It is a very, very light drink cup, so if I put a candy thing on top, it's going to fall over. So I had Epsom salt in my house. I was trying to see if I had some Dollar Tree sand, which you can buy, but I did not have any. And then after I was putting the Epsom salt in, I realized, oh, we could use rice as well. But I had already put the salt in there, and I had a huge bag, so it worked out great. So I don't really fill it all the way, but I fill it at least halfway, maybe 3/4, just until you have a nice weight on the skull so that your candy basket does not tip over. So I just continue to add this, and then I put the lid back on, and it's already black, so I don't need to paint that. And then I'm using one of the spider web candy baskets, and I am going to glue that on top of this skull head. And that is really how easy this is. I do go ahead and add some decor to the skull head, and we will do that as soon as I get this basket glued on, because then I just realized the more I looked at it while I was crafting, I thought it needs something to make it pop a little bit more. It was kind of just like very black and white. No pun intended, but so just glue this on. I just add a generous amount of glue on the top of that, and then we just hold that basket on there, and then we will go ahead and add some embellishments. And here is where those glittery flowers come into play. I knew that they would make this pop. And then at first I thought the purple was great, but then I'm like, I'll just keep it black. And the black is real glittery and silvery. So it really did make a difference. So I have to cut the back of that off, and then I end up gluing that onto the skeleton. But again, the backs of these, when you cut that back off, they fall off. So you have to kind of glue your flower back together. But they did work out in the end, and they just really made a huge difference in the way that this piece of decor or candy basket looks. So I always like to add a little bit of this and that just to change it up a little bit. Sorry, my dog is dropping her bone on the tile. That's what you just heard. She's a wiener dog, and she carries this giant bone around the house, but always on the tile, she drops it. It cracks me up. And just when you thought I was done, I'm not. This looks super, super, super cute, just the way it is. We don't need to do anything else. However, the eyes were kind of freaking me out a little bit. So I didn't know how to make them look better. And I got inspired by this skull head that I got at the Dollar Tree that had a flower over the eye. And so I will show you that because I redo it a little bit. But I decided to add a flower and place it over one eye, just like the skull head that I found. And then I just have to kind of like move it and glue it, because I kind of want to place it in a certain spot. And as you can see, I'm struggling with the basket on top, trying to get some balance, but I do get it on there, and I do end up loving the way that it looks. Sorry, I didn't fill their water. And here it is all done. I do love this, and I really think that purple really made it pop. This was my inspiration piece. I got that at the Dollar Tree as well. So I thought this was a super fun project, and it looks really cute with all of my decor. Now we are working on the next DIY, and I know you guys have seen these in your Dollar Tree. I actually got some of these last year and this year. They are the initial pumpkins. They're made out of the chipboard wood looking, and I knew that I could give these a makeover, and I done some really, really fun things with these. but I wanted to make some Halloween ones because I had a few more left to use. So I'm just using some black acrylic paint because that's what I have on hand. And I go ahead and there you go. Paint it all black. I do not show that footage, but I paint the entire thing black, and I do think that I use 2 coats, but if you have a chalk paint, you might be able to use 1. And here we are using those window clings again. These I also got at Walmart. I did not get these at the Dollar Tree, but they were very inexpensive, and I decided that I want to put a pumpkin on top of my pumpkin just to make it look more Halloween. So I have a tough time choosing, but I do finally pick one that I like, and we will start by Mod Podging that on to the pumpkin. So we will Mod Podge this on. I just have my Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree. It is the matte finish. That's the one I like the best. I go ahead and place it over the center of that pumpkin. And if you get a little overhang, that's okay. You can either like glue it down with the Mod Podge or you can cut it off. I choose to glue it down so that I have the whole pumpkin. This one almost fit completely, but I did have to fold a little edge over. So I put that onto the pumpkin, I center it, and I let it dry before I add another coat over the top. And yes, it does dim down the sparkle a little bit, but that's okay. You still get a little bit of that, and that's kind of the look I'm going for. So just go ahead and put your first Mod Podge base on, and you can see like it hangs over just a little bit. But I did push it down and let it dry, and now I'm going to put a coat over the top of this, and that's just to really, really seal it in.
And it seemed to be ritualistic almost. Sister Margaret and Paul.
Now you can leave it all black the way it is, but I prefer to distress it just a little bit. That's what I do with most of my stuff. So I have some of the Rustoleum white chalk paint. Again, that is in the description box below. If you want to grab it on Amazon, it is not really that much more than getting it in the store. And I just dry brush it on there, and I really accentuate the edges of there I go again, the pumpkin pieces, just to really make everything stand out. And yes, I do the back as well, just because, as I've told you in the past, I like to finish my projects completely. I don't like to leave anything undone. I mean, someone could pick it up and go, oh, this is so cute. And then they turn it around and it's not done, and that's just not cool. So anyway, that's just me. You do you, I do me. But I do love the way that this turns out. And then I want to create a bow for the top of it. And so I'm taking 3 pieces of, these are just scraps I have in my ribbon scrap bag, and so I just grabbed a few orange and black ones, and then I'm taking a black zip tie that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I just put it all together. I almost tie it completely tight, but then I kind of pull things out, and then once you get that zip tie on, you can fluff it and do whatever you want, but just get it on there, and then you can play with the ribbon. But this is how I do it. It makes it simple for me, and then I always add something in the center to kind of cover that zip tie up. Now, at the end of this particular DIY, I do show you one that I made a couple weeks ago that actually has a pumpkin face instead of the Happy Halloween. And it's super cute. So I do show you a couple different ways that you can do this. Again, I'm using that sparkly garland from the first project, which was the spider web. Like I said, I keep these things because you never know when you can use them. And the sparkle in this matches basically the sparkle in the pumpkin, and so I add that to the center so that it hides that zip tie that's there. Now you can also add a button, you can add a little pumpkin. There's all kinds of things you can do with the center. This is just what I chose to do, and I do love the way that this turns out. I end up double wrapping it because the zip tie was kind of showing. But good way to use your scraps and take advantage of everything that you have in front of you. I'm going to glue it on and I'm going to fluff it up a little bit. And when I fluff it, I like to glue it down again, just like I said with the gnome and all of that. I glue down those pieces so that the bow kind of stays in place. So when someone stores it and then they take it out the next year, it doesn't look like it went through a hurricane or something. It's down where it should be, and then they can just kind of move it around a little bit. Because as I've told you in the past, I do put these things on my station and sell them. And so I want things to be nice and neat and easy to display. So that's what I am doing here. I am just gluing down the ribbons, just little dots of glue here and there just to hold the ribbons into place. And this is a done project, my friends. Make sure you check out the other pumpkin I have right after I'm done with this DIY that I did a couple weeks ago. It's sitting on my station at work, and I love that one as well. Now to the very last DIY I have. This is probably the least expensive and the easiest, fastest thing you can do. If you got your hands on one of these skulls while they had them out at the Dollar Tree, it's really super cute, but it just needs a little something. So I love it, but I wanted to distress it with some black just to really bring out like the lines in it to make it look more... I don't want to say rustic, but kind of, just a little bit more antiqued, I guess. You could use an antique brown or antique wax from Waverly if you like. I'm just dry brushing black, and then I get it kind of heavy in a few spots. So then what I do is I go back over it with white, and then it kind of creates, we have a white and then almost like a gray looking color, and then some black accentuating everything. I do this over the flower that's on the eye as well to really make that look old and why can't I not find the word that I want to use? What is the word? Someone put that down below. What word am I using or looking for that I'm not using? How about that? I think I need 5 cups of coffee before I go to work. What do you think? I mean, I have to do hair all day and I can't even talk. And that's what I do for a living. Anyway, so yeah, I do end up taking that sticker off at the very end, but I just continue with the dry brushing of the black and then the dry brushing of the white and back and forth until I get the look that I want. And this turns out super, super cute. This is great on a tiered tray, or to even just put on a shelf. It can go anywhere because it's just the perfect size. So this is the end, my friends. This is where I am done. And again, I'm so sorry that this video came out so late. I wish I would have done it earlier. But if you have stuff in your craft stash and you don't know what to do with it, maybe you can get some inspiration or ideas from what I showed you today, and you can do them for next year or give them as gifts or just even put them out on Halloween night. So anyway, again, I hope you subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and share. I will be coming out with how the cookie crumbles. Like I said, I'm late to the party this time with everything I'm doing. I am going to try to get to crumble probably tonight or tomorrow to get those cookies and do that review before the end of the week. So I do have some fun recipes coming up as well and some more DIYs, but I do love how these all turned out. I thank you so much for watching, and until next time, next video, God bless everyone, and I will see you on How the Cookie Crumbles in just a few days. Oh, and make sure to see part 1 of this video. I will link that video in the description box below so you can watch them together. My time is limited, so I have to do things in sections. I can't just do one long one. So anyway, here it all is. Happy Halloween and God bless.